Damian Lillard has just been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks around an hour and a half ago from when I am filming this video, and we have to talk about this because this does have both an immediate effect on the New York Knicks and one for the future. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. My name is Chris, and we're going to jump right into it as we always do. Damian Lillard has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, and this does have an effect on the New York Knicks, as we know. So we're going to jump right in and talk about why this has an effect on the New York Knicks. Because when we look at this, we can take a few things away. The first thing is that the Milwaukee Bucks are now undoubtedly the best team in the Eastern Conference. The New York Knicks were the 5th seed in the East last year and would have played the 1st seed Milwaukee Bucks had they not underestimated the Miami Heat and then dealt with a Giannis Antetokounmpo injury. But because both of those things happened, we saw the Miami Heat, who beat us in 6 games, and then they went out, tried to land Damian Lillard, didn't land Damian Lillard. The Bucks said, hey, because we underestimated you and because you beat us in the first round, we know you want Lillard, we're going to take him and now have the best team in the NBA, which I think they do. I don't know how many people would argue that the Milwaukee Bucks are anything but the league favorite for the NBA Finals right now. I don't think there's a team in the NBA who can really compete with them that much. It won't be like the Warriors with Kevin Durant. It's not going to be a cakewalk. But the Milwaukee Bucks, for all intents and purposes, should win the 2024 NBA Finals. And for Christmas 2023, if you remember who the New York Knicks play, guys. I just messed up my hair because of it. Because they play the Milwaukee Bucks. Wonderful! On Christmas, a game when people love to show out in MSG, and where the Knicks are notoriously bad. Giannis and Damian Lillard will show up to MSG and probably try to put on an all-time performance in the first Christmas Day game of the lot, and the Knicks are going to probably be on the wrong side of a Christmas Day massacre. But we don't know. The New York Knicks are a good team, so we're not going to say that's a certainty. This is not a Knicks of old that's just a bad team that gets views, so they're on national TV. They're a good team that gets views, so they're on national TV. Obviously, the Knicks could win the game. It's not impossible. Again, this is not the Kevin Durant Warriors. They're not an unstoppable team, but this does have a huge effect on the Knicks. And it's not just because the fact that now the Knicks are going to have to deal with this juggernaut in the Eastern Conference while the Knicks are in the upper middle echelon of the East. I would not put the Knicks in the top tier of the Eastern Conference. I would now say tier 1 is just the Milwaukee Bucks, and then it just sort of goes lower from there. I'd say the Celtics are just below them. And I don't know if there's anyone on the Celtics level. I'd say the Philadelphia 76ers, but who knows, because Harden may not play. He's probably going to get traded, or he's going to sit out. Who has any idea? And if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, I am doing everything in my power to work a 3-team trade where I get former Philadelphia 76er Drew Holiday back on the team because he is a great player and probably the best point guard that the 76ers could get for James Harden, and he would also have an interesting fit with Tyrese Maxey, who wants the ball more and deserves it more. That is enough about every team that is not the New York Knicks, because as I said, this has a long-term effect on the Knicks. This is not just about Giannis and Dame and Brook Lopez and just an elite Milwaukee Bucks team that I think is absolutely going to curb stomp the Knicks most times that these teams run into each other in the near future. So let's hope that they don't very often, because these games are not going to be interesting. But it does raise this question because we all know the Knicks have been monitoring the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation. What is the deal with Giannis, and is the Giannis dream done? I think a lot of people would think yes right now, that the Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Knicks dream is done. But I'm going to go the opposite way and say it's not. Because look, here's the deal. At the end of the day, sure, this is a way, way, way bigger chance for the Bucks to retain Giannis Antetokounmpo in the 2025 free agency class that he's almost certainly going to take part in. I doubt he signs an extension before free agency. He probably wants to get wined and dined by basically every NBA team that could somehow figure out a way to afford him, very much including the New York Knicks. So with that all being said, I think the Knicks still do have a chance. Also, Damian Lillard is 33. It's not like they just traded for a 26-year-old that's on the same timeline as Giannis. Lillard has a lot of mileage. He has picked up injuries in recent years. And at the end of the day, when you look at it, he's probably at the end of his prime. I think he's still a great player. I think it's hard to argue that he's not, considering he just scored 70 points last season in a single game. So we all know Dame is as real as it gets. But who knows if that's the case in 2025. Point guards go fast because all of a sudden they're outsized and their legs don't run like they used to. So you never know. And the Bucks could look a little different come 2025. Giannis could be looking at a team that really is just in this scenario where everyone's older and he still may want out. I mean, Giannis is 29 right now, so it's not like he's at the tail end of his prime. He's still got a few years left, a good chunk of, like, prime's being extended, probably like 5 more years of NBA superstardom built off his play style. We're seeing guys like Paul George, who's 34 now, obviously not nearly on the same level, but like a guy who's dealt with injuries and had a lot of mileage and still been really good. But guys, and he's around 34 now, which is why I choose him. And it's stuff like that because the way that medical science has advanced, primes last longer, and Giannis is most certainly going to be in that group. So I'd say no, that this Giannis dream is not dead. It is really hurt, though, because I don't see a situation that the Bucks are going to be bad in 2025. They're now in great position to win this year and next year. I don't know how much after that, because again, outside of Giannis, this team is still old. In fact, they actually just got older because they traded away Grayson Allen, one of their younger players. The average age of this team is old. They are not a young team. This is a win right now type of Milwaukee Bucks. And in 2 years, things can change with injuries and with the landscape of the NBA just always changing. So that all being said, the dream for Giannis is not dead, but it's severely hampered, and I do think the New York Knicks are going to start looking at Joel Embiid a lot more. I think we're going to get a lot more Joel Embiid news. But we also may see a scenario where the Knicks take a step back and realize that it's very obvious that the only team with probably a chance in hell in the Eastern Conference of really giving the Bucks some trouble is the Boston Celtics. I don't think the Boston Celtics match up well with the Milwaukee Bucks, but they have a lot of talent, and if Porzingis stays healthy, if Jason Tatum can get the consistency down, if Jaylen Brown and Tatum can work together, they're still a great team. There's a reason why before the Bucks traded for Dame, they were usually the favorites to win this year's NBA Finals. So there's a chance the Knicks say, wait, let's hold up on everything. Let's see how everything plays out, because we have a young team. Our oldest guy in our rotation is Julius Randle, who will be 29 throughout the majority of this season. And then Jalen Brunson, who will be 27. And Josh Hart, who's 28. Outside of that, it's a young New York Knicks team. They don't have to rush into things. And I think the Knicks may take a step back and not instantly trade for a star player. I think they're going to hold off more. I think they're going to build. I honestly think that this has an effect on Emmanuel quickly getting extended, because now the Knicks have to build on these young guys, because there's no way that this current Knicks roster can really contend with a healthy Bucks team in the playoffs. It's unrealistic to believe that the Knicks are now in a position to make the NBA Finals unless the Bucks and the Celtics were to match up way too early because of weird seeding and then tire each other out or maybe deal with injuries, and then the Knicks could sort of swoop in. But it's not like they're the clear-cut third best team in the league. I'm really just going kind of crazy right now, so this is a wild day in the NBA, and I think this means that the New York Knicks should start to take things slow again. They should really just cool off on all these trade talks. Focus on Donovan Mitchell. He's not that old. He's actually very young, and there's a good chance that he still wants to join the New York Knicks. So I think that would be the Knicks' best move at the moment. And I do think that this will extend the New York Knicks contention timeline because of the fact that they are going to be more hesitant to go for a Joel Embiid, because now if you go for someone like Embiid, you're trying to win now. You can't trade for Joel Embiid like the New York Knicks could and then expect him and Brunson and Randle to contend with Dame and Giannis, or even the Celtics to a degree, but mainly Dame and Giannis. I know I just said that I think the Joel Embiid talks are going to extend, and I think they are. I think we're going to see a lot of that now that the Knicks and Giannis talks are going to die. But that's just how NBA media is. Of course that they're going to start talking about Joel Embiid and the Knicks again. There's too many connections not to. But I really do think that this has an effect on the New York Knicks timeline. That is the biggest way this affects the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks should rush into things now. I think they should continue to take things sort of slowly. And Knicks fans are probably going to hate me for this because we've been taking things slow forever now. But, I mean, what do you want to do? You want to try to contend with Giannis and Dame and Brook Lopez and that team? Because that team's elite. And unless the Knicks were to make multiple moves that would be very hard to make in the near future, I think we're going to look at the Knicks now target the 2025 free agency class when a lot of the young guys on the roster will be really entering their primes, and they're going to go for Donovan Mitchell in that year because it's the same free agency year. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think this actually, the two things that this does for the New York Knicks in positive light is we will now see a New York Knicks team that's not going to rush into something dumb, which Leon has not done once, so there's no reason to believe that he's going to do that. But I don't think the Knicks are going to rush, and I do think that this does increase the Donovan Mitchell chances. And this is something we're going to go into more, but that is all the time we have for today. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I know this is a weird video because it has very little to do with the Knicks, but usually when an NBA landscape shift that just happened like this happens, there's a ripple effect on every single NBA team pretty much, not just the teams involved with the trade. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great day, and remember, go Knicks.